Well, the moment has come. Who do we vote for? And as you know, I've had a few interactions with some of the new entrants into the political space. And I said I'll give you some indication of where my thought processes are and also who I'm actually going to vote for. I think the one thing is clear is that people are generally peeved off with political parties, traditional political parties. People want an alternative. Some of us would say credible alternative. Unfortunately, I think we're not really at that stage yet where we can decisively say that a credible alternative has emerged. But people are peeved off with the ANC nationally. They want change there. They're at 30 years, and people are peeved off in the Western Cape with the DA. They had 15 years, and the poor and the middle class are not feeling that they've done them a good service. So people want change because people feel that they are used as voting fodder. They see all the politicians now during the election campaign, and after the elections, they just disappear. They become unavailable, unaccountable, do their own thing, etc. So the one thing that I'm clear about is don't believe that your vote don't count. It does count. So I interviewed a few of these parties. I've watched them on TV and listened to them on radio, read their manifestos. And this is my considered view in terms of who I think should be considered from my perspective for you to offer your vote to. And let it not stop your sense of holding them accountable only by voting. You need to be at it. So nationally, the two that stood out for me that I would consider would be Rise Mzansi and Action SA, in spite of all of the issues around them, around their funding, around especially the stridency of the leader of Action SA, Herman Mashaba, around foreigners, around crime, and so on. Because I looked at them from the collective, who's all part of the party, and not really the individual, because these are not individual elections. We're not voting for a president or a premier or a mayor. So in essence, you're voting for a party, except when it comes to the independents. So nationally, I'm looking at parties. So I think Rise Mzansi's got an interesting offering. And Action SA, there's some interesting offerings, and they got an interesting crop of people who've been in politics, people who've been involved in activism, and people who come from other sectors and civil society activism. The regional, that's the first ballot, the national ballot. The second ballot, the regional to national, there I would look at two people. The one is Aneli Mda, and the other one is Zaki Ahmed. So there I'm looking at individuals, independents. We argued that we wanted independents to get onto the ballot, so it's now we need to give them a vote of confidence. So I am saying that we should consider those independents. They dynamic. I think they will ask the tough questions. They would make contributions. They've got civil society activism backgrounds. The one was in parliament before, and they're fearless. So those are the two that I think you should consider on your second ballot, the regional ballot. The third ballot, which is for the Western Cape Parliament, because I'm talking primarily to Western Cape people, is here there's a few parties that I think, and I'm looking at newer parties. I'm disregarding the ANC, the DA, the EFF, ACDP, even MK Party. I'm looking at parties like Action SA, and there I'm looking at the people who are the premier candidates, because I don't think they're going to get enough votes to form a government on their own. But I think the people that are the premier candidates can actually make a contribution. They are, I think each one of them got something different to add. So it's a sense in terms of it would be great if we can get those premier candidates in. So the first one would be Action SA. That would be Angela Sobey. I think she bring a nice perspective, a new perspective, embracing, not as strident as a leader and others are. She's big of sense of community and going back to the people and so on. The second one is Atolile, the premier candidate of Rise Mzansi. He's a youngster. He's steeped in civil society activism. I know him from a whole range of civil society entities. He's a political science graduate. He's dynamic. He's fearless. He's eloquent. He will bring the issues to the table, and he will have concrete and legitimate proposals. He's not stuck in a rut. The third one would be the PMC, People's Movement for Change, and here's Marius Fransman's people. I think he brings experience. He's seen the light that the time is up for traditional political parties, and he brings a group of community organizations, ordinary people, people who involved in community structures, etc., to the table. And they won't be able to ride roughshod over him, because he's been an MEC, he's been a mayor, he's been a deputy minister. He's got his own business, so he doesn't really need this as a job. So this is really, the sense is for him that he wants to give back and to develop a new breed of leaders. That's three. The fourth one would be Fadil Adams of the Cape Coloured Congress, or the National Coloured Congress, but they're on the Cape CCC on the ballot. I think he brings some nice energy. He's a lot around the coloured child, but he's also fearless. He speaks his truth. I think he's prepared to listen to reason when you engage him one-on-one. And he would ensure that the interests of the majority of the Western Cape stay on the table. That's a fourth one. And the fifth one, Al Jamba, although I don't really support the party in terms of its position around women, I think it's a backward position. Its position on the death penalty, its position on foreigners. I got a huge issue with the fact that they just grabbed onto al-Bashiri, or what's his name? Not al-Bashiri, Bashiri, the guy from Malawi, who's facing criminal charges in South Africa. But I like their premier candidate, Dr. Muhammad Harun, Imam Harun's son, late Imam Harun's son. I find him refreshing. You can see he's academic, but he's got a nice, wise perspective, and I think that would be useful in a provincial parliament that hopefully would be peopled by a lot of new faces and so on. So if you want to vote amongst all of those five parties for the Western Cape, I think, and we can get each one of those people in, that would be good, I think. The others, I'm not really wouldn't give my vote to either of them. Even the PA, I think it's a lot of noise and it stunts. But I'm glad they're going to give the DA a big dent, and I think they're going to make an impact in the rural areas. So, who will I vote for? I think when I going to decide who to vote for, I look at through the lens of the manifesto of the People's Convention that we had last year in December. And I look at that manifesto. What are the offerings? What are the things that we put there, and so on. So I look who are the closest to them, and who I think can to it, and who can deliver. So nationally, I think I would go with um, and what we want. We want an alternative, and we want fresh ideas. So I'm not beholden to the parties that I voted before. It's a new era, and I don't even belong to any of these parties or people that I am going to say I'm going to vote for. They will still be held accountable. I will still speak out. So the fact that I say I'm going to vote for them doesn't mean that I'm going to agree with everything that they say and do. So nationally, I would vote for Rise Mzansi. I think, in spite of the latest things that came out around the possible dodgy sources of funding, but I think they're an energetic group. They're in for the long haul. There's some nice experience. They got the link with the Rivonius Circle, which is an NGO think tank. There's some very good academics supporting them, people in business, people got experience in media. Their leader is an ex-editor of the Business Day. And I got activists, and I got young people, and black, white, pink, yellow. And I like this slogan: South Africa needs new leaders. So Rise Mzansi nationally, and I think they will make good contributions in national parliament. Regional to national, it's two people. I would have liked if Anele Mda was on the Western Cape ballot to national. I would have voted for her here. But she's on the Gauteng ballot to national. I hope that my friends in Gauteng and people in Gauteng would vote for her. I think she's energetic, she's a woman, she's dynamic, she's young, she's an activist, she's got civil society experience, she was in parliament before. She will speak her truth. She's not beholden to anyone. And I think she will rattle some cages and she'll make some good contributions. So if I was in Gauteng, I would have voted for her. In the Western Cape, also for an independent, Zaki Ahmed is the only one on the list. So I think we should vote for Zaki so that Zaki get in. Zaki has been involved in civil society activism almost all of his life. I got to work with him in the last few years when they formed Unite Behind. We were SA First Forum. We collaborated around some of the Save South Africa stuff, Zuma Must Fall stuff, the People's Budget stuff, some of the marches, and so on. So he's in it for the good reasons. I think he will be excellent. He will ask the tough questions. He will make the good contributions. He will take inputs from people. And I believe he also said he'll only want to serve one term. So Zaki Ahmed, and he's got good struggle credentials. Zaki Ahmed. In the Western Cape, amongst all of that five that I mentioned, I'll go for the PMC. I think I like the fact that there's people with solid political experience, and also people with solid community organizational experience. I like the fact that they say Tansani and the Gogo, they want to put them at the table. I one like the fact that they want to empower younger people, a younger group of leaders to come through. Um, I like the fact that Fransman and Plato are not, I don't think they want to be there forever, and hopefully they're not. Um, and in spite of all of the stuff that people are saying about Fransman and Plato and so on, I look at the whole group, and I think they'll make a huge contribution. They'll ask the right questions. They will assist the other smaller parties that comes in there. So and they're not beholden to any of the political parties. So, and I like the fact that they talk about that they want to have a economic codesa to discuss the economic challenges that we are facing and how to deal with unemployment in our country and in our province, and how to assist and stimulate the economy and assist small and medium business. So my third vote would be PMC, People's Movement for Change. So I wish you well when you in that voting ballot box booth tomorrow, and those who are going to vote today. All the best, and let's hope South Africa is better off after this election. So those are my views from Rod's views.